Well, it's a beautiful day out here, and so I decided it's a great day now to talk about how to buy your next car, give you some insiders from somebody who buys a lot of cars and trucks, of course. But at any rate, I've been in the car business for 40 plus years, and today I still supplement some income with the buying and selling of good used cars. I try to stay around the $3,000 mark as far as the price that I can sell it for. Sometimes now, because cars are creeping up a little bit, they hit around $5,000. But still, my main goal here is to try and get across to you how to find the perfect car for you. And number one, the perfect car for you is the car you can afford. The biggest problem that people have is they go out and they don't do their homework, and so that's what's going to get you in trouble in not buying a car, or when you're buying a car, that's going to get you in trouble. So I go to the auctions, and sometimes I bid on 3 to 5 cars a week, and I'm going to give you some of my key things that I look for when I'm buying a car. Number one, I don't buy cars that have already been what we call front light ready. They've been detailed out and they're getting ready to go through the auction. I try to find cars that are in good shape from the previous owners, and a few of my tips are very, very basic, and so I'm going to share them with you now. Number one, when I look at a car overall, I look at the paint finish, and of course I want it to have eye appeal. But the main thing is the first telltale sign is the tires on the car. Now, very few people, if they're happy with their car before they get ready to trade it in, go out and start spending money on it. So the tires are a real good telltale sign that the individual never had any intentions. They were planning on keeping the car for their own personal use. And that's a real good sign that if they just decided on impulse one day to go trade their car in. If they knew they were going to trade their car in, probably they're going to let their tires wear out. They're going to let their engine oil go. They're just not going to maintain the car. So when I look at a car, one of the first things that I look at is the tires on the car. If the tires are a good set of matching tires, that's telling me that the previous owner really wasn't considering trading the car in at that time. So you're probably going to get a well-maintained car. The next thing is obviously smells in the vehicle. Smoke smells, stains, things of that in a car. If it's been neglected on the inside, it's more than likely been neglected under the hood as well. And of course, that is what makes a good car. There's not what you would in essence say a good or a bad car. What there is are good or bad owners in the car. Well, we deal in a lot of used cars, and so what you want to get into is how the previous owner maintained the car. If they maintained the car very well, then that's going to show up in the looking of the car. Number one, never buy a car that you don't have scanned. You want to find out. Now, when I say scan, you can carry your vehicle to AutoZone or O'Reilly's or anywhere like that and have a scanner put on the vehicle. And now check engine lights are no big deal. So when you see a car with a check engine light, that just means that it's a sensor. It doesn't mean that there's necessarily anything wrong with the car, but there is definitely something wrong with the sensor. And so what you want to do is find out what's causing the sensor to go off. And a lot of times, just a leaking gas cap can cause a sensor to go off. And so these sensors are not necessarily indications that you have a problem car. So that's the first thing that you want to understand. A check engine light, no big deal. Obviously, you want to check the oil on the vehicle and make sure that the oil is up to level. And if it has a real bad smell to it and it's old and black, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad car. Oil burns off pretty quick, and so it turns black pretty quick. And so you want to be careful with that as well. But still, all in all, check your oil, check your fluids, check the windshield wipers on the vehicle. If they're old and worn out and they're cracked and things of that nature, chances are is that individual just did not maintain the car. And we were talking about a $20 or less than $20 maintenance. And like I said, it's not a big deal, but it tells you a little bit about the previous owner, and that's more important than the car itself, how they maintain the car. The next thing is very inexpensive Carfaxes and things of that nature. You can go to AutoCheck, you can go to Carfax. These things cost normally about $30, and if you're seriously interested in a car, do your homework on them. And make sure that the vehicle that you're looking at hasn't been any title problems or hasn't been any. You want to make sure that the title's present on a vehicle and that it's a good, clear title, of course. Now, the main thing you don't want to do is get emotionally attached. So many people contact me and they ask about, financing cars. Well, I'm not a big advocator of financing cars because people out there don't realize that it's more than likely the car's worth what you're looking at it for, but by the time you get through financing it, most people wind up with a $3,000 car and literally can have $5,000 or $6,000 in a car. And it's hard to have a good value in a car when you're going out there and you're having to utilize financing. So always save you back, a little bit of money each month, $100 or so, and keep it there for the repairs on your vehicle. And when it comes time to trade, always get in a position to pay cash for your vehicles. That's where most people really get hurt, is they drive in a car and making a car payment and wind up with the car broke down. The repair expense and having to make a payment is what gets you in trouble, people. So you need to stay away from these payments if you can. That's why I handle a car that's a good first-time car for an individual that has a teenage child that they're buying their first car, and it puts them out there to where they're not really getting very deep in debt on this car. They're learning their driving skills. So why do you want to go out and finance a car for that? So the main thing is that, like I said, if you go to a car dealer and they have detailed the car out, and they're not doing anything wrong, they're trying to make the car look attractive, and so it's remarkable. So you can't fault them for that. That doesn't necessarily mean they're trying to hide anything. It means they're trying to make their car look good. I prefer to buy my cars, again, like I said, at auction, because new car dealers are bringing these cars to auctions. There's normally 2,000 to 3,000 of them a week at my local auction that I have to pick from, and I'm getting to look at them before they've been majorly detailed. Now, I've got the experience, so it's hard to hide something by me, but still they look good. And when I look at a very well-detailed vehicle, traditionally that vehicle is going to bring $400 to $500 more than it would if it's just not detailed out. So don't get hurt in buying your car. Don't blame your used car salesperson. Don't blame the used car dealer. These people are in business to make cars look attractive and sell them. Use your common sense when you're buying a car, and don't go by the miles. Don't go by. I'm particularly, the car that I'm sitting in driving right now is a 2001 Toyota. It's one of the finest cars that I have ever driven. I've been driving this car about 2 months now, maybe 3. This car has 300,000 miles on it, and I challenge you to look at a 50,000 mile car, some 50,000 mile cars, and it drive any better than this. This car has been immaculately maintained. It, like I said, it has 294,000 miles on it. It had a timing belt changed. Got the records showing that the timing belt was changed at 206,000 miles. This is a nice car. Most people walk away from it because of the miles. Well, that is the wrong thing to do, because this is a one-owner car. It's got almost $500 worth of tires on it alone, and I didn't put them on it. The original owner put these tires on this car. This owner just got tired of driving this car. He drove this car, or she drove this car, for over 14 years. So it was time for them to have another car. They certainly didn't get rid of this car because it was a problem car. Since I've had the car, I've put brakes on it, and I've put shocks on it and tuned it up. And that's all I've done to the car. Otherwise, this car was immaculate. So do your homework. And I knew that I paid top dollar for this car because I knew the car had been well maintained. So if you can, like us, I carry people to the auction and consult them. You know, when you're buying a car, there's nobody that out there can predict the future of what may happen to a good car or a car, period. But you can reduce your problems if you're not in a haste. And I see a lot of people that have to have a car. And when someone has to have a car, they're taking a lot bigger risk than someone who has done their homework. You know, you wouldn't go to court without an attorney, and you wouldn't operate on yourself. You know, I am in the car business. Find someone that's in the car business, particularly a broker, that will carry you to an auction and consult you. If you're trying to make this decision on your own and you have not had experience in buying this car, then you're taking a chance. So good luck in your car purchasing. 3, 2, 1.